Yo, welcome back to another episode of Shy Boys Podcast. On today's episode, we got to talk about the Toronto Raptors. Is Fred VanVleet gonna be available? What about Gary Trent Jr.? And they got some more options for us to discuss. Y'all already know. You gotta hear the music first.
Cognac. Gang.
Shy Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm with my dog, CDubb. How you doing, boy?
Man, I'm feeling great, man. We in Canada, Joe. I ain't going to no Drake concert, though. Forget about that.
We in there. Yeah, I'm on. Hey, if y'all like what y'all listening to today, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and shake that notification bell so every time we drop, you be the first ones to know. We up in Canada with the Toronto Raptors. They got a free agent list that's looking really decent. I ain't gonna lie. I like this one. San Antonio was a bit dry, but the Raptors looking real good. We got Fred VanVleet with a player option. We got Gary Trent Jr. with a player option. We got Will Barton, Jakob Poeltl, unrestricted free agents. Delano Baton, Ron Harper Jr., and Jeff Dowden are restricted free agents. Now, keep in mind that the Toronto Raptors, as of today, they still don't have a head coach, and we don't know the direction that they're going in. Which of these free agents are you looking at first?
Oh, this is going to be interesting, man. I didn't think this was going to be this much food on the shelf when I came through this aisle right here. So let's start at the top with Fred VanVleet. Everybody know Fred VanVleet. We just played them in a play-in game and knocked them out, but he was the one in there turning up. I think he had like 30 points in that game. Fred VanVleet ain't your normal point guard. He really like a scorer playing at the point guard position. He can shoot it. He can pass it though. He can play make. He can get you about 5 to 6, 7 assists per game if he feel like it. But he really out there to score, hit 3-pointers, get to the basket. He crazy finish because he looked like he probably 5'10", but he can finish in the trees. He good with units in his body. He a streaky shooter. I like Fred VanVleet. I wouldn't be mad if the Bulls took a look at him. I know he's 29 years old. That's about at the limit where I want to go with these when I'm talking about picking up players, and his salary is at 21. So that's a lot to think about, but I wouldn't be mad with Fred VanVleet on your team. Now let's go down to Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent Jr., we've been talking about him for the last couple years. Gary Trent Jr. is one of the best shooters in the NBA, and it's not a crazy take to say. He just is one of the best shooters in the NBA. He does have a nasty mid-range as well. If you watch his game, he can get to the mid-range and he can do all type of things. He's a big guard. I think he'll fit in well with the Chicago Bulls. I don't know what position you could use him in coming off the bench. He could possibly start, but depending on what you're going to do with this starting lineup we've been having for the last 2 years. But Gary Trent Jr. is a very good player for the Chicago Bulls, especially if you're talking about spreading the basketball flow. He can just definitely do that, and at times he can make his own shot. Right. So I'm good with Gary Trent Jr. Will Barton, he passed that age where, you know what I'm saying, my personal limit of 32 years old. That's how old he is right now. I think he'd be 33 when the season starts. Will Barton he's a scorer extraordinaire. You know, he played with the Denver Nuggets. He was put in his end. You know what I'm saying? He put his in, but the Denver Nuggets decided to go a different route, and look what they is and look what he is. You know, probably searching for a team after this season, and it won't be the Chicago Bulls because I'm a pass. It go another interesting one. Jakob Poeltl. This is Nick Vooch's worst nightmare. If anybody in the NBA scares Nick Vooch, it's either Embiid and Jakob Poeltl. Every time Jakob Poeltl faces Nick Vooch, he tears him to pieces. And you know what? He's not as offensively gifted as Nick Vooch. But guess what? He plays way better defensively than Nick Vooch. It's like sea level in space when it comes to defense. Because Jakob Hurdle is just got Nick Vooch beat on defense so bad it's ridiculous. Maybe this is maybe you're looking at a young Vooch right here. Because when Vooch was younger, he was more athletic and he could move around the basketball court more. But he got married, and when you get them steaks in your belly, it start to wear you down.
This man is funny.
Jakob Hurdle I think he the perfect situation for the Chicago Bulls.
Even when considering that Andre Drummond is talking about he gonna pick up his player option.
I'm talking in terms of a replacement if you're gonna lose Nick Vooch. I like Andre Drummond as
even though they are discussing it, talking about trade talks, we don't know what
because they right now
team
trying
will
to say
look like.
This is we can dream. This
right.
is all this is.
I get you.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't being exact. I ain't being, you know what I'm saying?
I know. I catch your drift.
Yeah. So Jakob Hurdle, I think he'll fit with the Bulls, especially with this roster. Even with a DeMar DeRozan on the team, he'll be good. He'll be better without a DeMar DeRozan. Did you hear Anthony Simons getting traded? Portland's reportedly traded him. Anthony Simons. Y'all need to be looking at Portland. But Jakob Hurdle will be good too. That's crazy. That's 3 already. The rest of these guys, let me shout out Ron Harper. Shout out to your pops. I ain't seen much of you playing, bro, but I'm going to pass on you. Jeff Doodoo, whatever your name is.
What?
I'm going to pass on you.
That ain't his name.
Delano Bankton. I'm going to pass on you, bro.
How you going to sit there and call this man Jeff Doodoo? You bogus.
I ain't feel like saying the rest of the name, dude.
It's all right, bro. You got it, bro. You bogus. But I want to talk more about Fred VanVleet and what he can potentially provide for the Chicago Bulls. Me personally, I think that he provides if he opts out of that, you know what I'm saying, the way that the Bulls will have to get money to even think about signing him is that they got to do what we all been saying for. Go to the damn league front office, put in for that disabled player exception, and so you can recoup some money for the injury of Lonzo Ball. I still don't believe Lonzo Ball is not going to be available for 18 to 24 months. That's 2 years left on his contract. It's time to let him go. I believe that it's business. On the business aspect, we say, hey, you costing me money, but I'm paying you, but you're giving me no production. And then as the human side, you be like, dang, he going through it. But at the end of the day, this is business. You know what I'm saying? So that's first thing first. The Bulls got to free up some money in other areas so they can go ahead and even attempt to look at Fred VanVleet. But I think what he can provide, just real quick, is he definitely provides the scoring necessary to what the Bulls need and give the Chicago Bulls another option. Me personally, if the Chicago Bulls go ahead and go and file that exception, I'm not still not sure on how much would that free up for him. But if you can get him in the door and pair him up with Zach LaVine, I wouldn't even be mad if it's him, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan because of their scoring prowess. It will be a bit tricky defensively, but you still got some defenders that you can throw out there in certain situations to help the team out when you consider keeping Alex Caruso, Patrick Williams, and things like that. And plus, you've seen these guys have the ability to step it up when necessary.
Yeah, I agree with that. VanVleet would definitely be a good cog with the Chicago Bulls, even if you kept DeMar DeRozan and the rest of the crew. He is a scorer extraordinaire. I don't know much as far as playmaking. He a decent passer. I just give him that. Right. I just think the Bulls need. I wouldn't be mad at him, but I think the Bulls need a more traditional point guard that got scoring in the back burner, but they can do it well. They can score well. But I wouldn't be mad at him though.
Yeah,
they'll win more games for sure.
For sure. Because now, instead of having a Pat Bev, a Ayo Dosunmu, a Goran Dragic at even one point, the opposing defense, you can't sag off on Fred VanVleet because he can definitely get hot and knock down a three. He can definitely go ahead and add more space into the offense. So I think I'm with you. I think a more traditional would be good, but this option is definitely one of the better options on the table for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna cost a pretty penny though. It is
gonna cost a pretty
20.
Penny.
It's gonna need north of 20, so it's gonna be vital for that. I don't even think if you do the exception, you still have enough money for him unless he's gonna take a pay cut getting out of Toronto. You know what I'm saying? He
Right.
got to probably take a pay cut. So I wouldn't be mad at him, bro. I like him. He a tough player. He a little pit bull. He a little pit bull, bro.
So would you say that Gary Trent Jr. would be the more valuable option to have add a 3-point specialist? What we've been calling for the last 2 years?
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at past successful Chicago Bulls teams, you look at the first teams, you had Craig Hodges, you had BJ Armstrong. Those are the 3-point shooters. They spaced the floor, even in a more congested league early in the 90s. Then you look at the Derrick Rose teams, you had a Kyle Korver on the team. They tried to make
Michael Dunleavy.
Mike Dunleavy and Dougie McBuckets. He just failed. He was supposed to be the next Kyle Korver. So yeah, I think he'll come in and he could do one of those Cal Korver or Mike Dunleavy things easily.
Yeah.
I think he could do it better than those two guys, especially with this team, because they definitely need extra space, bro. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say, and he's a taller guard too. So now, not only are you adding a 3-point shooting that you need, you are still adding on that size that's necessary to help build up a team. And he's young. He will cost some money. You know what I'm saying? He makes 17 million. You know what I'm saying? But a 6'5" guard that adds some size to your team is definitely necessary. He will command some money, but I'm with you. Not at the level that Fred VanVleet will command the money though.
And that's not discount that he's pretty good defensively. I will say I don't want to say mid, but he a little average on defense. He can still hold his own, and he can make his own shot. So he do got some more pluses besides the shooting. He kills us. You know what I'm saying? You seen the games we playing.
He definitely put up against the Chicago Bulls for sure.
If he open, he knock it down. I give him that. He's a knockdown shooter.
I'm with you on that as well. I think when you put both of these players side by side, I think yes, you might say Fred VanVleet the better player, but the better fit for the team and what we need might be Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, to get petty, I would say if we get VanVleet, maybe we win another 5 games. You can add 5 games to the win total. I think this might be crazy. Tell me if you agree or not. If you add damn, I always forget Gary Trent. If you add Gary Trent, he can add you just with his spacing and his knockdown shooting. He can add you 7 to 10 games.
Okay, just so with you said Fred adds you 5 more, but Gary Trent with his ability and what he can bring and potential fit, he adds a 7 versus
7
5.
or 10.
We'll just say, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I kind of see where you coming from with it, but I still think that the point guard position still needs to be addressed. Whether the Chicago Bulls are gonna let Ayo Dosunmu take the helm, Kobe White take the helm, they're gonna get in some trade talk with somebody or try to pick up somebody, who we've been shopping around for. We've seen players out there that are available at the point guard position. Dennis Schroeder. We've seen the potential to trade for certain players and things like that. Or, looking at D'Angelo Russell, I wouldn't, but we don't know what the Bulls' plans are. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's options out there. So you still got to address that need for sure, because you can't keep running into the same problems. And that problem is no offensive execution in closing minutes of the game, or nobody to set things up when it gets tough. So you got to figure that out.
And that's a great point, nephew. And also, when I think of this upcoming season, I think the point guard that starts for us will be a under $10 million player. And this will be the chance for them to prove themselves. Unless we get some big crazy splash or something, which I don't see coming. But it will be a person that's going to have a lot of motivation to try to go get a better bag. It's going to be an under $10 million player, I think.
Okay.
Running the starting point guard.
For sure. Well, any final thoughts?
No, did you got nothing to say about Jakob?
I mean, I think Jakob Poeltl would be good, but I still think that when you look at Andre Drummond he said he gonna pick up his option. I still think that in that case, he might be back, bro. And I think that's why he had that option to return. Only way I see him not being here is if he's included in some type of trade talks, which I'm not too hot on at this moment.
You talking
maybe
about
want
Nick Vooch?
huh?
You talking about
Alter it.
Nick Vooch?
No, for Andre Drummond, because I think you talking about for him replacing Nikola
Yeah.
Vucevic. I don't
Yeah.
know because I don't see that because they already put it out there that they in contract
Trade
extension
contract
talks
or something. Yeah.
with Vooch. So yeah, that's what I think. And I don't know how big Jakob Poeltl will want to be coming off the bench when he has potential to start elsewhere.
Oh, no way. No way. He ain't coming off the bench for sure.
So and that's why I ain't really looking at it. So yeah, I don't got too much hope on it. I think the key focus will be who will be the better fit for the Chicago Bulls, Fred VanVleet or Gary Trent Jr. at this point, as far as looking at this team right here.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with that. And then I'm gonna go with Gary Trent Jr. for sure.
For sure. I would. Oh, it's a tough one. And it's not far-fetched though. Like it's a tough decision that's why we just YouTube GMs and those guys get paid millions of dollars. They gotta make the decisions.
Bro.
So we'll see. We'll let the people decide. Bro. So that's it from us today. Y'all go ahead and let us know in the comments below who is the better fit for the Chicago Bulls and what we need. Fred VanVleet or Gary Trent Jr. And y'all already know. Subscribe here for all your latest Bulls content. Go ahead and send a voicemail or a text message in to that number 773-242-9219. And of course, see red, baby. This is another episode of Shy Bulls Podcast. I'm Bobby with CDubb. We gonna catch y'all on the next one.
Cognac. Gang.